The emails have been coming in by the hundreds on this next story. It's Janine Garofalo over there on MSNBC talking about the Tea Parties. And, well, what she said is at the very least inflammatory, as well as Keith Olbermann's reaction. But first, here are her remarks. Janine Garofalo on MS talking about the tax day Tea Parties.
Let's be very honest about what this is about. It's not about bashing Democrats. It's not about taxes. They have no idea what the Boston Tea Party was about.
That's right.
They don't know their history at all. This is about hating a black man in the White House. This is racism straight up. That is nothing but a bunch of tea-bagging rednecks.
What this is a woman who has no point being on television, no basis for those accusations. In New York alone, there were 3 black speakers, and the people at these Tea Parties were, to their credit, criticizing Republicans. They were criticizing Democrats.
Well, what's ridiculous here is that she goes on to explain later too that Fox was behind these things, which is absolutely ludicrous. In fact, CNBC and Rick Santelli, the first one to call from NBC, he was the first one to call for Tea Party, saying, "Come out here to Lake Michigan." And in fact, one was held like the following week after he called for him on their own network.
You're right, in his rant, in his sort of famous rant where he was on the floor there and said, I have an idea, let's do a Chicago Tea Party in July. And of course, people did not wait until July because there's so much frustration. But Janine Garofalo is so, it's ironic because she pretends to be railing against extremism and narrow-mindedness and partisanship. And in doing so, she's extreme and narrow-minded and partisan. And so,
she's entertainment. But the news host didn't say anything. Keith Olbermann did not counter her argument. Instead, he attacked us as a network.
Well, have you ever watched Keith Olbermann?
Which is worse,
I love the generalities, too, that she makes. She says that none of these people even know what the Boston Tea Party is. Does she know? And how does she know that those people don't know what the Boston Tea Party is?
I can assure you she's never, ever ventured out to talk to anybody outside of Manhattan or any of her friends.
We're going to talk about, if we talk about this story again, we're going to tell you some other inflammatory things, in fact, that she said about Rush Limbaugh.
Quote, his reaction, I think, might be worse because Janine Garofalo is a sideshow. She's entertainment. He's supposed to be playing the role of a journalist. Keith Olbermann said, quote, if you steer your television network towards a bunch of guys, towards a bunch of guys who are just looking for a reason to yell at a black president, eventually you will marginalize yourself out of the business, won't you? Well, let's check out the numbers, Keith. First off, that is a false statement. There was nothing racist about these Tea Parties, and the ratings would reveal that people
as you pointed out earlier,
enjoy this movement that's going on in this country.
I mean, because it's outrage. I mean, people are, it's not as, you pointed out earlier, and a lot of people saying it's not a Democrat, it's not a Republican thing. They're outraged about big government.
They criticize them both.
And they want America back to its roots, and we want smaller government, we want fewer taxes. That's what the outrage was about. It wasn't about this. She also, when I told, like about a half an hour ago, I said we're going to tell you what else Janine said, because I wanted to mention this. She went on to rip into Rush Limbaugh as well, and she said the type of female who does like Rush is the same type of woman who fall in love with prisoners.
What is wrong with this woman?
Basically saying that Eva Braun, Hitler's girlfriend, that's what she said, is exactly the type of woman who would support Rush Limbaugh.
Must we invoke Hitler all the time, Janine?
That's Janine
Can we get
Garofalo.
a new analogy, please? All right, in the meantime.